We start where we start. That is Red Sox, Yankees, wild card series. And of course, Garrett Crochet going in game 1 tonight. Huge advantage for the Red Sox, especially how he's pitched against New York this year. That said, if this thing goes to a game 3, the Red Sox could be in some trouble. Alex Cora announcing that Lucas Giolito will not be a part of the postseason roster, or at least the wild card series. He's out with an elbow injury, off the roster for the wild card. Of course, coming off that surgery that forced him to miss all of last year with the UCL. This is a huge blow for the Red Sox. Huge blow, no doubt. But it did look like the writing was on the wall here. Unfortunately, it kind of came fast. 100 innings is typically that benchmark for those guys coming off elbow surgeries. He pitched 145 this year. But the drop-off in September was massive. Because remember, he was cooking in August. In August, the Red Sox had a legit Crochet and Bayo were on the same innings, same ERA for about 2 months, which was astronomically small. It was great. You had basically 2 aces and then Lucas Giolito cooking as well. In August, 3-0, 2.39 ERA. And in 6 starts, hitters were hitting just 194 against him. Nobody could touch him. And you really thought like, ooh, man, maybe we didn't need Joe Ryan after all. You go into a playoff series with these 3 guys, especially a best of 3, man, you're feeling really good. Except for the fact that Brian Bayo takes a big step back in September, and so does Lucas Giolito, and now he's not even here. But in September, again, the wheels kind of fell off. All right, he goes from that 3-0, 2.39 in August to 4 starts in September, only 19 2/3 innings pitched. The walks became a big problem. I was at a game actually on August 31st where Giolito had 5 walks in 5 innings. He ends up going 13 walks in those 19 2/3. The opponent's batting average goes from 194 to 260. Huge jump there. And the ERA is still manageable at 3.66. But again, a huge step up from where it was, or step down from huge uptick, but huge step down from where it was at 239 in August. And the innings way down. So I don't know how much Lucas Giolito was going to give you in this postseason, in this wild card series. But certainly, you feel good. You feel better about Lucas Giolito at probably 70 or 65% than you do about a rookie or an unproven guy you traded for in the middle of the year. Because we're talking about a potential decisive game 3 on the road at Yankee Stadium, and your options are Kyle Harrison, who's made 2 starts for you, and Connelly Early, who's made 4 starts in the major leagues. Full stop. So you're in a heck of a predicament if it comes down to a winner-take-all game 3 at Yankee Stadium. Early, by the way, Early's looked great through 4 starts. He started this year in Double-A, okay? And he's only made 4 major league starts. And you want to throw him into Yankee Stadium potentially in a winner-take-all game 3 against one of the best slugging lineups in all of baseball in the Yankees. He's never gone more than 5 2/3 in any of his 4 starts. Has looked impressive for sure. He's got a 9-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. His strikeouts per 9 is around 9. That's fantastic for you. You know, I don't want to strikeouts to walk 7.5. Excuse me, I got it mixed up with the hits, or excuse me, the strikeouts per 9. So he's been electric in 4 starts. That ERA under 3, but can you really rely on him in a winner-take-all game 3? Do you want your whole season to come down to that? I tell you, it's only 2 concerns for the Red Sox in terms of health, but they're big ones. Lucas Giolito out. Alex Bregman I don't know if he partied a bit too hard on Friday or what, because the dude's in his 30s now. I get it. It's not as easy to do as it was with a bunch of 25-year-olds, 24-year-olds that are going pound for pound with him, celebrating in the clubhouse. But he apparently had some illness, had a stomach bug, traveled separately with the team. They expect him to play, but obviously not a good sign for a guy who really scuffled the last month and a half of the season. To go into a crucial series, a guy who has been a Yankee nemesis. He's faced them 4 times in the postseason, and he's knocked them out 4 times. And a guy who has hit well in that ballpark this year. That's I don't want to say a bad loss for the Red Sox. It sounds like he's going to play, but certainly not at 100% is not great news for the middle of this lineup either, because it could come down to the middle of the lineup. It's certainly something I've got to bring up with Anthony Armando of the Monument Pod, who we'll have on in the next segment. But I'm interested with how Red Sox fans have treated this home field advantage thing for the Yankees, because to me, it's not a big deal. I don't think it's a huge deal in baseball anyway versus some other sports. I don't think it's that crucial to the gameplay as it would be in maybe basketball, with how it influences referees in basketball and in hockey and the momentum swings. I just don't know if it matters as much in baseball. But I also don't feel like the Red Sox are intimidated going into Yankee Stadium. The Yankees, on the other hand, are trying all they can try to keep this a home field advantage. And that includes literally keeping Red Sox fans out of the ballpark by any means possible. I saw this going around on social media yesterday. I decided to try it for myself, but you go on to Ticketmaster and you get greeted with a nice little message. I log in from Massachusetts and I get this message that says, sorry, this event is restricted to the residents of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. They are afraid of you, the Red Sox fan. They are terrified that you're going to come in and take over their stadium. Now, the Yankees, a once proud franchise, man. Like that's not something the New York Yankees should be worrying about. The Red Sox shouldn't worry about it. The Cubs shouldn't worry about it. The Dodgers, you shouldn't have to worry about that. But for some reason, the Yankees are so terrified that there's going to be a bunch of red in the stands in the Bronx in this 3-game series that they will not let you buy tickets. Come on, man. That is some little league stuff there, man. That is really weak on the Yankee side, if we're being totally honest. Maybe this is because it's happened to them, to New Yorkers before. I noticed that it's been mentioned, and this was in the WBZ story, that New Yorkers have been caught out with this. Ticketmaster released a statement that says, confirming this is a team choice. It's not a Ticketmaster choice. They call it geolocking. The Hurricanes did it to Rangers fans in 2022. It didn't really work if you watched any of that series. And the Pistons did it to the Knicks fans this year when they played them in round 1. It's so wild to me. Again, we're talking about the Yankees here, man. Not to pump up their tires too much, but this is one of the franchises in Major League Baseball, and they're worried about having too many Red Sox fans in there? Come on, man. Come on. That is such weak shit, man. It really, really is. The Yankees are doing this. And look, I actually think, with these two cities being fairly close together, I've been to Red Sox Yankees games at both ballparks. We've obviously watched plenty of them. There's never been a scenario where either team sucked and the opposing team's crowd took over their ballpark, let alone in a playoff series, man. Anytime you go see Red Sox Yankees at Fenway, there's going to be plenty of Yankee fans there. Boston's a great place to live. Okay, they want to be here, and they're a big-time franchise. They're everywhere. Same thing with New York. You go to a Red Sox Yankees game there, there's always going to be, 30% Red Sox fans, let's call it, and 30% Yankee fans at Fenway Park. But to actually block us out, like, that is sad, man. That is a sad, sad state of affairs for a once proud franchise. They didn't want to play the Red Sox. We've heard that from Yankee fans all over the place. They wanted to play Toronto. The Red Sox are, I think, welcoming this kind of matchup, but you can't even have your fans in the stands. Come on, Yankees. Be better. You're supposed to be better than that, man. I guess it's got to wear on you with the fact that the Red Sox have won the last 3 playoff meetings, 04, 2018, and the one-game playoff in 2021, and won 9 of the 13 games against the Yankees this year, and won 5 of the 7 played at Yankee Stadium. Maybe that's just so exhausting for the Yankees franchise that they're saying, those Red Sox fans, man, they travel too well. They're too good. They take over the ballpark. We need all the help we can get. Go ahead, Ticketmaster. Put the block in. Block the Red Sox fans from buying tickets. How sad is that? That is so sad. And if the Red Sox do come away and win this series and have divisional series against Toronto, by the way, which isn't terribly far, and a lot of Toronto expats live in New England, they travel well. If the Red Sox advance and then block Toronto fans from coming to Fenway, I got to keep the same energy. That is embarrassing, dude. That is so embarrassing. And anyone will hide behind the whole third-party ticket site. Oh, we don't want price gouging. It happens. You could buy tickets in New Jersey and price gouge there, you know? And famously, there are no Red Sox fans in Connecticut. Famously, right? Connecticut that still tries to latch on to being New England. Okay. It's just an embarrassing move by the Yankees, man. And it just adds to it if you're a Red Sox fan of like, man, I hope we kick their ass. You know, they won't even let our fans in the ballpark. How sad is that? You know, if it's Baltimore 15 years ago, that's one thing. Or Tampa. This is the Yankees doing it. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.